All right, I'm starting a little early for the discussion, but we're going to look at Gisella's work because you're here. This is looking really good. You've come around, you've got some interesting patterns as secondary elements, and you're using colors pretty effectively. This is your assigned color, this purple.
Yes, sir.
I have a little trouble with the gradient. I know you're going from blue to red. I think that your logo type is fairly complex, and with this hollow, the hollow type for jelly beans and the gradient coming through, it kind of ruins the legibility. I would maybe pick a different font for jelly beans, because this one,
Okay.
because of its transparency, it's kind of an issue.
Yes, sir.
Also, like the shapes inside the logo, this is like your this is your logo icon, right? This big oval thing.
Yes.
Yeah. So these shapes are very complex as well, and you've got a pretty strong gradient. Sometimes gradients work better if they're just more subtle, like they don't go through really high contrast or high complementary colors. If you think analogous or even monochromatic, when you do gradients, sometimes it comes off a little better.
Yes, sir.
And you've got a bit of a hierarchy issue with your panel here in each of these. So your logo is kind of the star of the show. You've got, I guess this is like a window.
Yes.
So what you need to do is figure out how to arrange these elements so they're working in concert together. You've got this awkward space here. One of the issues I think is your logo icon is so vertical. It makes it a little harder to work with. But I would probably, I mean, in my mind, it should be maybe the height of the type instead of double the height of the type.
Yes, sir.
And then that would sort of tighten that all up into one unit. And then the window could maybe take up more space. I know you like having the heart, but I don't know that you need that much concept for this. The type, this is like really big, bold type, and I feel like this should be like a little more subtle message. Plus, you're doing Tortuga, you know, you could have more fun with the type. Give it a little more of a pirate theme.
Yes, sir.
But this is an excellent exploration of ideas so far. I think with some tightening up of that panel, and that would carry through in all three of these, add the net weight to the front. I would make this type probably flush left instead of centered, because centered type is harder to read. You know, our eye goes to the beginning of the sentence, and when it jogs back and forth like that, it just makes it harder to read. So just simplify. I think it's a little bit of simplification in some things, but your patterns are good and your color palette's good, so you're on solid ground.
All right. Thank you, sir.
All right, Cassiopeia, what's going
Hello.
on?
How are you?
Good. You're having trouble?
I'm just having with the clipping mask.
All right. Can I, I'm going to stop sharing my screen and let you show me what's happening.
Oh, shoot. Sorry, I'm bad at Zoom. Where do I share my screen at?
It will be a green
right
button. Yeah, okay.
Okay. Can you see it?
Yes.
So when I select, and then I select this, I get that.
Because you've selected guides instead of, so see the layer that says die cut? Oh wait, you just want this wood panel to be on this one, in this one space. It says.
So when I did mine, I had to make another copy of that same exact shape and then use that individual copy that I made with my clipping mask.
Yeah, so the way you do that, Cassiopeia, is you Command C to copy, Command F pastes it in front. So Command C copy, then go to the layer 9 with the wood so that you're on that layer, and now Command F will paste it in front. It dropped it back down onto the individual layers panel. So you see the little circle on the right next to the little purple square on individual layers? Yeah, click that. That selects everything. Twirl down the individual layers group.
Bring it down like that?
Well, no, don't bring it down. See the little arrow,
Oh.
that thing? Yeah, twirl that down. All right. So deselect everything by clicking on an empty space on your artboard. All right,
Oh.
so there's that panel. Yeah, they're not guides. They're actually the shapes like they're supposed to be. Click on the panel you want to use as a mask.
I was cool with it going over the whole thing, and then I was going to put a filter on it or something.
Well, if you want to do that, you can use the die cut layer that has the whole shape of the packaging. And then you could use that as your die. But the way to do this, as I said, is when you select what you want to use as the mask, you copy it and then Command F paste it in front so that you're making a clone basically, putting it in front. And then shift and select the image you want to use as well.
Or do I have to do it on the artboard?
You can click on the little circle next to where it says image. Hold down the shift key. Yeah, so I think you've got both. Do Command 7. Yeah, you didn't have the other thing selected. Yeah, now you got them both selected.
I just hit Command 7, and that's
Well,
what happened.
okay, so it made a clip group, but the clip group is below the layer with the fill, so drag it up so you can see it.
Oh, okay.
There it is.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
All right.
All right. I'm going to go to my critique for my class.
Okay.
So thank you.
All right. Back at it. Ramel,
Yes,
take a look at yours. You did an awesome job. I really like where this came out. It's coming together really nicely. Here's a couple of suggestions. So, you know, like if you just turned this in, you'd be all good, right? So this is just making it maybe better or trying some different things. One thing I would say is this pattern, the swirls, you could make that much smaller, finer pattern so it becomes more like a texture. And you could play with different colors to see how that works. On your primary display panel, so your logo is in this color, and it's, you know, you need to have a circle to knock it out which fits over this color. So consider maybe a different, like this background color works. The issue I have is a little bit of hierarchy. So the words pomegranate and mint sort of dominate.
Okay.
It's kind of, do you see where, I'm trying to see where do I look? What's the most important thing and how's it all set up? I think maybe you could put this the logo off to the left side, and you could enlarge this image a little bit, and then maybe I would try to avoid having two panels like this on this one.
Yeah, I was trying to too. I was in like a situation where I was like, well, if I put my logo over the purple, it'll vanish, and if I put the type over the pink, it would be like basically not really visible. So
Yeah. So here's where you have the control. So you could change the color of the type so that
I
it's
was like,
something that
how?
works in
Yeah.
there. I think you could
Okay.
expand your color palette a little bit. So you've got this violet color and you've got a tint of it, this lighter version. You've
Yes.
got yellow and green. So orange, green, and violet are a secondary triadic. I would experiment with an orange, and orange also sort of goes with the tea color. Like this image you selected is like kind of the color that would sort of flesh out the palette to me.
Okay.
And I'm talking about experimenting. So just try some things with that and see if you can get this simplified a little bit. This is working really well if the type was in a contrasting color to the background and there wasn't this shape here.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I think if you introduce an orange, and I'm not talking about like a bright, orange, like a kind of burnt orange, darker orange. I think that you will find that like it's almost like you're instinctively finding images that have that color in it.
Yeah, I was trying to like find those. Yes, I'm trying to say. I was trying to find the colors that go with my palette, and I was specifically searching on like through Pinterest for like those certain images.
Right. So introduce burnt orange, try it out, keep everything you've got, just make a duplicate of it, and experiment with a tighter pattern for texture and just see if you can work on the hierarchy there. And I think you will end up in a happy place.
All right, I will. Thank you.
All right. Deborah is here. All right, Deborah, is this your group?
No,
And this is,
no.
you're in Ramel's group?
I guess not.
What was your brand that you're working on?
Brionic Coffee. Brainiac.
Brainiac Coffee. Oh yeah, I saw it. Wait, you use the symbols, the scientific symbols and stuff?
Yes.
This was in the first group, sir.
It's in the first group. Thank you. There it is.
That's it. Yes.
All right, this is a cool idea. You got some good stuff going on here. But I feel like it's kind of like you've got all the ingredients out on the counter and now we got to make it into sauce. So
Okay.
first of all, so you get to experiment with this and do 3 options. This pattern is clever and it works with the brand. What you're having to deal with is you can't put anything on top of this. So it's got to be a sort of separate area. And then you have your logo and tagline sort of crowded together. So so you're the master in control of this. So you get to decide how to make this work. So you could take this pattern and make it monochromatic and make it very low contrast. Consider that. What if it was like sort of a chalkboard color with very light, gray kind of shapes on that that have low contrast, and then you can put things on top of it, which would make it better. The color palette you've got going is really good. Your green, which is so hard to work with, that you took on, that's the assigned color. You've complemented it with this wonderful kind of reddish brown. And then you've got a kind of gold color and this light green background. These are awesome to work with. So this light green background could be the fill on everything. And then the pattern, like I said, if you made it low contrast, it could fill out more of it. In terms of hierarchy, like I want your logo to be the star.
Okay.
This type could maybe go on one line if you had the space. And this 400 grams is gigantic. I want it to be like at least half the size there.
Okay.
This is squished. Do you know why it's squished?
No.
It looks like a screenshot. Is that what you did?
Yes, because my computer is not being friendly right now.
Well, that is a problem. But when you place this into InDesign, make sure you don't change the aspect ratio of the image, because I think that's probably what's happening. So it's like squishing in. You're trying to fill it out to the edge. And it's not proportional. I think the file may have an issue. But here's the thing with that. The background's a separate element. You could stretch the background element in Photoshop without stretching the package, if that's the
Okay.
issue. But just be aware that you don't want to like distort the vertical on that.
I've been having a whole lot of problems with Illustrator. Like 1 minute Pathfinder will work, and then the next minute I'm doing the same thing but a different style, and then it won't work.
Hmm.
And so I'm having major problems with Illustrator. It's like crazy because it's stuff that I know how to do,
Yeah.
but then all of a sudden it'll work. And then when I go, well, no, let me change this and do the same exact thing, then it won't work. So I was like, you know what? I ain't got time for this. Screenshot everything that's not working and put it in there because I know I did it and I have it saved, but
Yeah, I got you.
and
So
oh,
I know you're concerned about the deadline. So I appreciate that. And you've done, considering what you just told me, I think you've done a great job. And the key is always to save your work. As a designer, I can tell you that I've hit things like this before with my own work where it's like, wait, what's this doing? It doesn't make any sense. You have to figure it out. I mean, it's kind of like you got to be a troubleshooter on your own. And there's a way to do it. You know, it's kind of like you narrow down, where is the problem happening? Is it the things I'm selecting? Is it the document I'm in? Is there some sort of preference setting? You kind of go through a checklist.
I'm so sorry. I've done all of that. I've tried to
Yeah.
contact Adobe, but they say contact the school. I've talked to the school because they usually text you, and I don't have time for these errors, and it's just been consistent.
Yeah, I understand. I hear your
I've
frustration.
resetted the preferences and everything, so.
Yeah. Well, if you need one-on-one help, if you're hitting something like that again, as you're going forward, and you need one-on-one help, reach out on Slack. And if I'm available, I'll just get on with you right away. Somebody else might be able to help you as well and figure some of this stuff out.
Okay.
Because, I mean, your design ability is being demonstrated here. You're showing that you know how to design, and I hear what you're saying. That's super frustrating. And I'm sure you don't have just school going on. You have a life as well. So I'll just give you a couple more things that I would try to do, like, and the type, you don't want to have a break like that, ER container. These images are great for this. But again, like, what if this was like a chalkboard and these were like white? The strokes on this were white. It would look like sort of they were drawn in chalk a little bit. Then your type would have to be white as well. Just right now, everything that's white kind of feels a little empty.
Okay.
You could actually find an image of an empty chalkboard and bring it in and create a layer mask behind the whole package. Keep the gold pieces, but it'd be behind everything else. You'd have sort of a chalkboard to work on. And I would do that I would keep this, do that as a second one, and see how that works for you.
Okay. I don't really have I hear what you're saying, but I don't know what you mean by the chalkboard.
Blackboard.
I know what a blackboard is, but I don't know how you want that to be. What do you mean to put that in the design? Is it going to be like an extra image, or is it just going to be the foreground, background, color?
So you could create a background, use it as a background, and you could put white things in front of it, and it'll have that feeling like a chalkboard. You know what I'm saying? So if I put this image, this is a stock image. I'm just going to try to show you quick.
You just wanted to be the background, so okay.
Yeah,
I
all
got it
right,
now.
you got it. This putting this way, that doesn't work, and you don't even need that. Just delete that. The word light, is that like sort of the version of the coffee?
Yes.
It feels sort of out of context, just like sitting up there on the handle.
Well,
So
it was the color, all the light references light, so that's just was in my head.
light roast,
Yes.
and then this gold color is the light roast color.
Yes.
I got
And
you.
each of them have a different color, so but okay.
Well, if you put light roast, that would probably help, because just
Oh,
light
yeah.
by itself, you're like, what?
Okay.
I'll just show you an example of somebody else doing the same package. So this was Madeira chocolate, and there's her
Oh,
mock-up.
that's
So
pretty.
yeah, you can see how the pattern worked really well across. Let's see, this is not there. That's the one she did. So you put
Yeah,
that
that's really
pattern
pretty.
like all the way top to bottom on those two panels, and then when you assemble it, it gets that kind of look.
Oh, that's why you said make them smaller, because I can get a lot of more images.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now I see what you
And that's
mean.
what I wanted.
yeah. So do that.
Yeah, it's kind of tricky looking at it when you're looking at it like the box not put together. It's
Yeah.
like playing tricks with your eyes. Like, wait a minute, like which side is this?
I hear you. That's kind of why I brought this up, because it is tough.
Well, I know what I did wrong now, so okay.
All right. Think in 3 dimensions and you'll be good. All right. So Brittany's here. Brittany, what was your product?
Swing set of snacks.
Did you post something?
Yeah, it should be at the bottom.
Did I go past it? No.
Uh-uh.
Maybe are you in the same group with Ramel?
I think so.
Because I don't see it. Maybe it's this one.
Yeah, it's at the bottom down.
So you just posted it now?
Yeah.
I have to refresh. When it works, it works. When it doesn't, it's a pain in the butt. Sorry. Oh, there's some new ones. You must be in this group. This is the problem with me having 3 sections. There we go. Look at that.
There it is.
All right. This stuff is kosher. It's whole wheat. It's got GMO free. You had fun with these. All right. So you're using Rainbow, and I understand why you're using Rainbow. From a branding standpoint, it is appropriate. It makes sense. Rainbows are super hard to work with because you've got every color. So how do you create contrast? Well, you've done it by creating knocked out areas where there's white, and I get that. I would encourage you to maybe think of the rainbow a little differently. Like, you can shift the whole rainbow. You could make it less saturated, or you could make it darker. you could make it more like a sort of an analogous rainbow instead of a full-on rainbow. And try some of that to see if it gives you some room to have contrast with your logo. The logo up on this panel, you will see it. You know, I'll go to, this is the example I have for this. There it is. So that's where your logo would be, up there. It feels kind of pushed to the side, I would think. I think you'd want it more on the panel in front like that, where this window is. So that's your window.
Yeah.
All right. You got a whole world going on here. This is awesome. There's a lot of creativity. It's really great. So the challenge is color on this right now. So try to wrangle down that rainbow. How's that for direction? To get it so that you have something where you can work with it and not have to, like, it's really screaming at me. Like, you have all the volume up everywhere, and that's too much. Your eye needs a little break. So, for instance, in this background rainbow, I would like maybe you could desaturate it so it's real light. You could make it just sort of part of a rainbow, or you could, you know, have it only covering part of the packaging. But right now, I'm seeing the challenge you're facing, and I feel like it's too much for somebody just taking color theory for the first time. Because this, if I had to work with a rainbow like this, I would find this super challenging. The key is sort of like to cheat a little bit and sort of bump it down. Maybe if the values are all closer together, so that, you know, things aren't as bright and dark, that would help as well. But that's the challenge I'm going to throw at you. And if you get into trouble with this and you want some more help, I can get on one-on-one with you maybe.
Okay.
I hope that's helpful.
Yep. Thank you.
All right, I'm just going to keep going with the rest of the critiques. So since we're in section 1, Sable. This is beautiful. It's continuing to evolve in a really wonderful way. For some reason, you got this set up properly here, and then you're showing the back. I don't know if that's intentional. You're trying to show the other side. And then this is the back. I would love to see 3 different fronts. One thing you could do with this area below here, and that's this color, is add a very subtle sort of gradient or inner glow or something, just to give it a little architecture dimension. You could put a little bit of a very subtle drop shadow on here. You know, like maybe 20% opacity or something, so that it just feels like it's coming out a little bit. These are awesome. I love the pattern. The pattern could maybe be shrunk down a bit so that you see more of it. That would be another option. Right now, this is perfect. You could just do these as secondary options. So I'd love to see that, Sable. Yeah, there's a different front. That color contrast works really well. It brings out, it sort of lets the subtlety of your icon illustration shine through a bit. And, you know, maybe there's something on the handle as well. But good job. All right, Deanna, Atomic Cookies. You've got the foundation going. Your assigned color is red. You're using this bright green with it. Maybe a picture of cookies. You want to make this appealing. It's got to have some appetite appeal. It's got to feel yummy and delicious. So think about how you're going to make that happen. With all this green in here, if I was looking at this in the grocery store, what do you think? What flavor do you think I would guess this to be? Is it lime, or is it insecticide. You got to like work that out. This dark version of your assign color is great. You could have more of that. You could also go the other way and get some toasty light brown colors as well. You need a descriptor line, the net weight. Look at those sites we gave you access to, to look at for examples of what goes on cookie packaging. All right, Tristan, you did it backwards, so the primary display panel is on the other side. You need to switch the panels so that you can see the front. There it is. Color contrast is an issue here. You've added a black stroke to your type, which just diminishes greatly the legibility there. Plus the whole logo looks sort of stretched horizontally. Don't stretch it to fit, make it fit. I know I mentioned earlier that having the type split around the icon is not a great way to work, so you're challenging with that. Just figure out how you can build color contrast without using these strokes everywhere. It would simplify it. This additional color is nice. It could be maybe a little darker so that it's more syrupy color. I do like the color combination you've got going on. It's just how you use it. Like you've got a very dark color for your logo and a very dark color in the background. So then you have to have this light green stroke everywhere. I would think about the structure differently so that you have a light color. If you have a light color back here that has a hue contrast with your green, maybe this golden color, and that would be better contrast. I don't need to see the back of the box. You're going to submit 3 flats like this and 1 assembled 3D. That's what's required for the assignment. If you do extra, that's great. Not a worry, but just make sure you've got what's required. All right. And this group, there's a lot of people here. All right. Coral, Big Easy Cookies. I love your gator with the crown. You struggled through this logo and came to a good place. You found a picture of cookies that are actually Mardi Gras colors. And you silhouetted them really well, so they're sitting in there. That's great. I wouldn't use your logo type anywhere but in the logo. The proportions here feel a bit off. It should be Big Easy, really big. The icon could be about half the size, and then cookies underneath, and it could be in a different font. You've done an awesome job exploring textures, patterns, additional elements. What you want on the front panel is a descriptor line. The cookies that are like Mardi Gras for your mouth, I don't know, whatever it is. The net weight, you need ingredients somewhere. And it would be horrifying if these were not made in the USA, like where they're made in Mexico. I don't know. But yeah, I love this stuff. Now, all this stuff on the bottom, like I said, you're not going to see that. That's on the very bottom. When you look at this example I gave earlier, with the pattern going, this is how it works. Goes all the way up like this, and then you get this effect like that. I think that is kind of what you'd want on here. Same thing here. Make this pattern go all the way to the top and bottom of this panel and this panel. Right now, the way it's set up, you won't see it at all. It's completely on the bottom. So think that through. All right. Johnny, I don't know why you're giving me all 3 in one big screenshot. I cannot see anything. You're using a brick pattern. It looks like you're sort of building that on the fly. If you want to use the pattern tool in Illustrator to build a brick pattern, that would be helpful. You've got a sort of monochromatic or a very analogous color palette. I would love to see some more contrast there. maybe some real yellow, bright yellow. Can't read the type at all. Can't really see your logo. You're putting it in a circle because this color doesn't give you enough contrast. So why use this color? Just make the whole panel the color that contrasts with your logo. But I think your logo, I think you need more colors to give you some more options. The little polka dots and these triangles or diamond shapes are just sort of random arbitrary patterns. This makes sense because it's brittle brick. Maybe there's peanuts. You could find, you've got this image of peanut brittle. The type looks really hard to read over that. You'd have to make this, bring it into Photoshop and make it a little more monochromatic or darken it up or something so that you have a way to have contrasting type. But still some work to do there, Johnny. And make sure you go to your master page and add your name and brittle brick. Danae, this looks really good. I love the pattern. You've got all these great elements going on. I just feel like a bit of hierarchy. So this element is really nice, but I would maybe make it less contrasty. This sort of beigey pink color that you're using quite a bit, I feel like for this product, maybe you would want something a little with more color to it. This is kind of a sort of medium desaturated color. I would experiment with other colors in the background here. It's the right value. It gives you good contrast. Descriptor line. See, this kind of works. It feels like it's part of the logo there. And then this this stuff, I understand that gives it an authentic look, but it's kind of screaming at me. You might knock it down by half. But I like this pattern as well. Kind of feels like, think about flavor cues and stuff. Like, what are you telling people this is going to taste like? And, you know, when you see it, look at products that you think are similar and see what kind of palettes they're using to convey flavor. Because this feels like it's pumpkin spice right now. I don't know if that's what you want. This blue is a great contrast, but yeah, you need a little more of those sort of flavor colors. Shayla, Cactus Cookies. Your icon, I feel like you recovered from going astray there. You did really good with this. Maybe it could be a little closer to the icon. You're using a window here and it's sort of violating the logo space. You could, if you tighten this up a little bit and maybe knocked it down a bit, you could put it over there. I don't know if you want to have a window and a picture of the cookie. The picture's really nice and you did a good job with that, silhouetting that. You got the brand, a taste for every occasion. This pattern, like I showed you over here, could go all the way up. Like, look at this, like all the way like that. And then make it low contrast or give it a background color. Why isn't it the same color as this? You should have a background like that color with those green cactus going all the way up. One issue, if you do that though, is like these are opposing shapes. So one of them's got to go on top. I don't know which one. I guess it'll work. This looks really elegant and nice. I guess this is a screenshot. I don't know whether there's an underline on this type, but if there's really an underline there, make sure it's off. You've did a monochromatic logo that actually works really well. And you changed up your logo type. So even though this is kind of like you're skewing the brand in a different direction, it looks really good. So I have to say yes. All this information on the bottom won't be seen. You want to put it probably in the back panel somewhere. This is too tight to the edge. Give it a margin. You're doing great work here. So see if you can make your color logo work. But I'll include this as one of your options because I think that really is a great look for this. All right. Gisela, we did yours. All right. Ezra, Sol Beso, your icon is bold. It's consistent. It looks good. The sort of sunset rainbow gradient is a bit complicated, but you're making it work. Your type is way too small and anemic. It needs to be, I would say the character stroke should be like at least as thick as the icon. The icon could get knocked down quite a bit and the type much bigger. That would help it. You've done good design, good hierarchy on the primary display panel. You are also attempting to use the rainbow, which is challenging, but you're using it effectively by sort of containing it in certain areas. So these are chocolate dipped fruit, if I remember correctly, dipped in chocolate. So this has the right flavor cues and stuff. And this rainbow seems to work for the brand. So good job on this. Just some tweaks maybe to get this looking right. Benjamin, Thor's Coffee. So you did, contrary to my directions, you made this logo work with the O being the icon. You're using it properly so you can see it. If this is mocha coffee, this shape bothers me. I feel like it's just an additional element, not necessary. Maybe this is like an outline over this dark red, and this type could be in that this light color, and ditch the shape and sort of tighten it up, your hierarchy a little bit. And I think it'll be good. I love this textured background. That looks really good. You're making this work. This panel is going to come across the front. I feel like it should have this same texture in it. But you're doing a good job here. If I were going to experiment with anything, it would be maybe photography, beautiful cup of coffee. You could do that as a second option. This pattern is cool and low contrast. It could be even lower contrast so you could read the type. What you want to do with this, when you place it into this panel, you don't want it going this way. You want it going this way. And the way you do that is by selecting the panel, go to Object, Transform, Rotate, and you can make sure it's unchecked Objects and only check the pattern and rotate the pattern within the shape. If you have trouble with that, let me know. But and then you would want to rotate it so that it's the same, it's vertical on the panel. This won't get seen over here. You should just make it all red. Good job though. You got 4 options. All right, Genesis, this looks beautiful. Windsor Tea, terrific hierarchy. You've got great authentic looking stuff going on and put it all together. You've added this botanical sort of pattern. I feel like this should be maybe bigger and kind of eating behind that or something. I would experiment with that. Really nice borders, great pattern on the sides. The way this is placed, I don't know. I think, well, it'll probably work. Great job. I don't have much to say. Good hierarchy, good use of type, great use of a pattern. These big black strokes you're not going to want. When it gets assembled, that's going to look odd. So consider eliminating those. All right. Steve, Osiris Coffee. You pulled it together. It's looking great. This also looks really good. You've used your icon as a silhouette pattern. I would maybe do it lower contrast in some way. This is crazy. I like it. It's cans now. Well, that would make sense. It's like Monster Energy. This type here is not going to work out so well because when the flaps get folded down, you're just going to see a little bit of it. I'll go back here to show you. So like she put this little key in hers And when it flaps, see how that little key is the only thing you can see. So your type, which is really big here, is just going to be part of it showing. So don't do that. If you wanted to put this so it's visible, it would be on one of these flaps. I think it's this one will be on top. Good job. All right. I think that's everybody. Any questions from those who are present? No. All right. I'm looking forward. I'll be back on tomorrow at noon. I'm looking forward to seeing everybody's progress. This is some really great work, guys. Keep going. We were almost there.
Thank you.